Alright, we got two boxes. The first one is not anime. Some Pokemon card protectors. This one is. But why don't we go through all the non-anime stuff, because there's quite a bit of it. For starters, Pokemon event going on, the shiny Zygarde, so I picked up some games from GameStop, you know, I patronize them. L.E. Noire for the Switch, Detective Pikachu, and Ever Oasis. Next up we have Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell, the next Tremors movie. Let's see, I've got a deck case for the Pokemon deck I've been putting together, and two more cases for the rest of the Pokemon stuff. In here is where I've put the cards that were in the I forgot what it's called, deck. You know, features Milotic as the main Pokemon. Unfortunately, blah 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 blah. Interesting stuff, but this thing is missing the Rose Raid. Just extra cards in here. For other things that came in the Pokemon thing, let's see. This is just some playmats so that you have the setup. This is a rule book, which is nice to have. It came with these, so if you've played Magic the Gathering and not Pokemon, like me, then damage counters are important. So I've ordered a couple sheets of stuff, you know, just keep track of damage. Let's see, it came with a coin. It's a Garchomp and a Charizard. You know, not an impressive coin, just a plastic coin. You can kind of see here, this is the shiny Zygarde from GameStop, which is pretty cool. And cards. I ordered a foil Wicke, basically a couple of cards which are like, I like them, they're kind of pretty, and they do card draw related stuff. You know, this is, everybody reshuffles their hands, which is most of the Pokemon stuff. Let's see, that's from earlier, but I did also get these for myself. These are Magic the Gathering cards. This is some sort of neat, can't read a damn thing set, but if I can get this thing that actually says Entomb for one black, well yeah, search your library for a card put in your graveyard. Then you got the famous Dark Ritual and Avatar of Woe, which kind of look a little similar. Fun stuff, neat stuff. Those will be going in my Resurrection deck. Now, I would have had more, but for some fucking reason, Batman the Animated Series didn't arrive. Tracking says it was left at the door. It wasn't there. I don't know if this means one of my new neighbors is a fucking thief, or UPS is incompetent, or the driver was stealing shit. But it's just really annoying me. I wish I could strangle whoever did it, because, well, if a mistake happened, that would be fine, but this doesn't feel like a mistake. So I'm a little pissed. Especially since, oh, wait 36 hours, which is, you know, time for them to fucking get away with whatever they're doing. And hey, look, a bunch of other stuff also arrived. So it's at least a big update even without Batman, but let's just begin with My Hero Academia Season 2 Part 2. So you can see this box comes with space for the old thing, Region A, English dub. It's all quirk and no play. Makes Jack a little boy. Here on the back, I recognize one of those faces. I don't know. There's not a lot of space for stuff here, is there? In fact, let's just go with the one big pile approach. And I don't know. Let's turn this camera down a little bit more and start taking a peek. So, order of stuff. Let's begin with Blu-ray DVDs. It goes up to episode 26 to 38. Let's see. Let's set that down for now. The characters, I don't remember what's in past ones, don't remember what was in past versions of these, but there's stuff in here. Let's take a peek. We've got a deck loose keychain. We've got some cards. Should be kind of cool to open, but I'm not going to. This looks like maybe a bag or a pack of some sort. I've seen little backpacks like that, and this is a magnet set. Oh, this might actually be nice to. I wonder if it could be a set of these characters. These look like they could be some of the more popular characters. Interesting. Magnet set may also be able to be used to decorate my cubicle at work. Oh well. Let's just keep going. Next up we have Anonymous Noise, which is region A only, English dubbed. And I'm trying to think if that eye patch girl is familiar or not. None of these characters jump out at me, but complete collection, 12 episodes, 2 discs, so it's kind of nice. Of course, we are now in the Sentai only releases Blu-rays except for certain small exceptions era. These are some weird looking music loving girls. Like, is she missing an arm, or am I not processing? I think she is. Is she? How would she play guitar with only one arm? Or is it maybe like that, and because her hand's there, it's weird? I don't know. Next up, we have Mobile Suit Gundam Age, Volume 2. DVD and Blu-ray version, so let's Alright, let's see. First of all, on the backs, I see a region A there. Audio, Japanese, and English. So I guess there's English dub for these, Japanese. Region A only, so 4 discs. Okay. As you can see, the back is just a mecha of some sort. Episodes 29 through something. Let's take a look in the Blu-ray version. Reattach that. 3 discs, and it feels like the last discs are the same. Second to last are the same, but this appears to be unique disc art in the DVD version. I'm curious what you were missing. Next up, we have Satellite Girl and Milk Cow. This is Blu-ray DVD. I almost purchased this and the DVD version, so being careful, I guess. Not sure what to make of it. It looks weird. It kind of reminds me of, I think, a Korean animation about a girl in a vending machine or something. We have Black Butler, and since the title is covered up, actually maybe I can just pull this out. Book of, I can't fucking read that. It's too small. It's too dark. It's written in cursive. Region A, English, audio. This DVD version. I should maybe watch some of these and try and understand why the series keeps going. It's one hell of a voyage. Okay. First up, we've got DVD version. Next up, we've got Blu-ray version. And we've got a sort of reversible back or inside cover, whatever. Next up, we've got Kabukibu. I don't know anything about what this is. This is Sentai. That's why Blu-ray only release. Now, looking on the back, I see Region A, audio, I see Japanese only, so this is subtitled only. And this definitely looks a little more, I'm not sure if interesting is the right word, I guess colorful, animated or something. Maybe a little more character-y as opposed to this looking very kind of artsy, I guess. But of course the back, well, the back was maybe kind of in between here. Interesting. Next up, I was thinking this looked familiar, and that's because I got Fist of the North Star on the series on Blu-ray, but this is the movie. It'll blow your mind right out of your skull. I see a Region A there, audio, I see dub is available. And yeah, this next pile is Eastern Star stuff that I think maybe was supposed to come out last week and kind of sort of did, but shipped whenever, arrived whenever. Maybe part of the problem is that I grouped them all together, which could mean that some stuff could have come out earlier and not shipped because other stuff in the order didn't arrive until later. You know, not a whole. Wow. Let's see. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah. Just taking a quick peek at this again because sort of ran out of time on the camera there. Because I guess I was so irritated by shipping bullshit that I didn't notice that I didn't have much time left on this camera. Next up we have Monster Rancher. This is 73 episodes standard definition. This is English dub version. Or maybe this is just Blu-ray English dub version. Let's see down here. It says English dub and it's region A. I can always figure out what the hell I did later. Now, I tossed it, and this, of course, it has a sticker on it. Oh, this is different. There's a Firebird. Phoenix, but Firebird. Monster Rancher. Artwork on the inside. You know, nice, simple, but I don't know. I think maybe Eastern Star's gotten a little more elaborate with some of their stuff. Lupin the Third, Part 4, Episodes 1 to 26, The Italian Adventure. Is this a part? This is a complete collection, Episodes 1 through 26. Interesting. So if we look on the back here, we can see audio is English. Interesting. I see a region A right there. And I tossed it before I dealt with the sticker again. And I noticed that there's a little piece missing. This piece right here. Come on, come off, you piece of crap. Sticker's being really testing of patience-y. Alright, so taking a peek on the inside. First of all, we've got 3 discs and what looks like an invertible cover, which makes me think this is different. Good. Next up, it's a Blu-ray version of Star Ocean X, the complete series. This one was released on DVD a long time ago. And if I could get this stupid plastic to separate, then I would tear it off. And this time, instead of throwing the thing away, before I've taken the sticker off, I will get the sticker taken off. I can see this sticker already trying to pull that same bullshit again, and it's pulling that same bullshit again anyways. I don't remember much about this series. I remember I did watch it. Well, peeking at the back real quick, we see Region A, we see Japanese and English audio options. A different cover, as we've seen them doing. I think the same back. On the inside, the complete series, Star Ocean EX, except on 1 disc, SD. All 26 episodes in standard definition on Blu-ray, which is probably for the best, since I think this comes from the era where anime doesn't upscale very well, because when it was film, you can get more film detail, but when it's, anyways, like the clouds, like the wind. Just an interesting looking thing. I'm definitely curious about it. Not that this thing can focus worth a damn. I mean, maybe we can't blame it for that, because it is doing focusing automatically. but still. Alright, this time sticker's cooperating. Let's see. It looks like it's the same cover on the inside. That kind of sounds about right, because this one I believe is a movie. Just one disc. And you know, it's definitely a very curious looking thing. This is a Tokyo Underground on Blu-ray, standard definition. Yeah, okay. For a while I was wondering if it was Ease otherwise, but right now I can't remember more than maybe one or two scenes from it. And I don't mean like long scenes, but more like general imagery. Maybe my memory of Tokyo Underground isn't too much better. This sticker is being extra shitty. So I think it's just on this side. Alright, oh, this one has different cover. They lost a character. I remember that character. Oh well. Then on the inside we have the one disc, which has the complete series on standard definition on a Blu-ray, and not an invertible cover, but rather a removable, almost could be hung on the wall cover, I guess. And last but not least, actually probably the most interesting thing here, which says a lot considering My Hero Academia is highly notable, is a Revolutionary Girl Utena, the 20th Anniversary Ultra Edition. If you didn't order this, maybe you are aware of the fact that I think it was supposed to ship sometime back in December. And for people who didn't order it and weren't receiving updates and didn't hear news, I think there was an issue where this thing's supposed to come with a ring, I think, you know, because the ring is kind of an important thing in the series. And I think they lost them, and they were hoping they would be found, but they weren't found, so they had to remanufacture them, and, you know, super delays. And I've held off on buying Utena on Blu-ray just because I did pre-order this, and I kind of felt like those Blu-rays would be around, and I did have the series on DVD, so if I did want to watch it, I wouldn't have to wait for this release to come out. There we go. So this was what the box was giving, which it looks like I want to keep. This is a pretty image. Oh geez. The dress goes all over the place. I'm actually needing to figure out space to put stuff. That's a little more naked than I remember seeing her. Same with Auntie. But these are the insides of it. That's almost everything from the box. This is the actual inside of the box. Ow! Whew. Sorry, this is just a lot of stuff to go through. And look at that. Oh, 2 rings. And clearly not an accidental thing. As you can see, I think it's a kind of, it could be a glassy design. Should be more careful with them. Interesting. It looks like one is light and one is dark. I don't remember anything like this from the series, but it very well could be. It looks like it's a little, well, big, no, a little small, but maybe not too little small. But I think these are the reason, and those are actually pretty cool because those are very distinct. You usually don't receive rings as part of collecting anime. Here we have a really pretty book, although I guess this design doesn't shine like the cardboard on the outside of the box does, which is fine. I'm just trying to... I can see a lot of stuff in here. Trying to see... Okay, that is English. I couldn't tell because of the small amount of space I have to work with whether or not it was English or Japanese, because the fact that I had trouble seeing the words kind of meant... I'll have to dig that out. So let's see. This looks like it's probably the regular stuff. This is the Student Council Saga. So I'm thinking this contains what is maybe the regular release, unless this is in a more compact form in order to it's some nice Utena-esque abstract-y art. I mean, it's not like super abstract, but it's a little, I don't know, kind of disturbing, almost in a witches from Madoka sort of way. The discs, simple enough, disc 1, 2, and 3. I'm obviously not trying to write them. Let's actually move this here. Take these rings and set them aside next to that, and then look at the next, which I think is a Black Rose Saga? Yeah. Which is the second saga. Oh, and I do see a Region A there, so this isn't importable, but I think even regarding that, this is a pretty neat, very collectible set. So if your friend imports it but can't play it for some reason, I wouldn't blame them for it, because Utena was neat. I had trouble finishing it because I wasn't quite, I guess, generally I just don't feel like I have something to latch onto. The Apocalypse Saga, yeah, that sounds about right. That's some very non-lesbian stuff going on the front there, unless it is very lesbian. You know, female on female sexuality is, I think, a theme kind of generally explored in here. Interesting. But then it's still very shoujo, I guess. Alright. Maybe this is a really good excuse to rewatch the parts I have seen and to maybe finish the series. We'll have to see. My priorities are whatever they are. So, sealing this thing is, well, not exactly monumental, but it is very tightly packed, and I have to admit, I don't think it's necessarily the neatest anime, but it's definitely the neatest update to my collection of all the myriad of things that arrived today. So let's bring the camera back up here and say here's this week's anime DVD collection update. So I guess when it comes to what I was watching, what all did I watch? Well, I at least finished watching Tsukigakure, and for the most part I would say it's good. And if you're looking for kind of slow down to earth, realistic, doesn't really try to wow you with out there ideas sort of slice of life with a romantic, heavy romantic, and actually it's more like a romance that's a slice of life, I guess, then I think this is right up the alley. It's, I mean, it takes place between two middle schoolers, so of course it has that awkwardness of getting used to some of the ideas there, and for me it was a little exhausting watching which maybe why, maybe I didn't watch more this week because of that, or maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to remember other things I may or may not have watched. But, yeah, overall, it was good. I think, let's see, some of the things that didn't sync with me is I really didn't like certain characters in there. I didn't really hate them, but they irritated me, and I don't know. I think that's part of the problem. That could be the kind of appeal to this sort of thing, where it's people not quite doing the right thing, and that includes like friends trying to set up romances to be the way they think they ought to be, as opposed to paying attention to reality or something like that. They get this idea stuck in their head and they do their own thing, intentionally playing around with the dynamics of other people's relationships as a part of exploring your own. I don't know. Overall, it was fine, but it kind of reminds me why I just don't explore it, because it was exhausting to think about. It's the sort of thing that makes me not want to try, but at the same time it was very heartwarming, I guess, just what it was doing, how it was doing it, and just the neatness of the characters without them being like, oh, distinct. They're just neat, I guess. And then next up I decided to watch Grand Blue Fantasy, and I guess I would say this is about what I wanted Tales of Zestria to be. I wouldn't say this is necessarily good per se, or maybe it's just not great, and it is good, but it is definitely far more watchable. And one thing I commented about with the Tales of Zestria is I really liked the character designs, and I kind of wanted to watch it because I wanted to see what they did with them. And I mentioned that Grand Blue Fantasy had that as well, with, you know, like that looks kind of neat. Those are some neat colors. And I guess if there's a major difference between them, I get the feeling they're both implemented from RPGs, you know, actual video games, but I think Grand Blue Fantasy is more suited to being made into an anime. Either that, or they just did a really good job of it, because with Tales of Zestria, you had some ideas set up that were neat, but you kind of had this prequel-ish episode that was confusing, and it can't stay focused on the main characters because apparently there's a lot of other important characters that it keeps getting distracted telling, and it's a little harder to know, I guess. I'm trying to remember if I even had a good idea of what I was wanting to have happen, expecting to have happen, I guess. And Grand Blue Fantasy is kind of better in that regard. It gives an obvious goal. It gives an obvious, oh, this is what they're going to run to as they go along. The story pretty much sticks with our main characters as they go from episode to episode, and most of the evidence that it is implemented from an RPG is little things like, oh, we got to be careful, this monster's swarming with monsters, and of course they're right, but from the anime the only way we can say that's right is because the bad guys are there, and, you know, they're like there and there and there and there, so, you know, it's like swarming with the bad guys and not just the monsters. But usually you say, oh, there's a lot of monsters here, it's dangerous, because that's how you fight your first monsters in your first forest and your first RPG, I guess. But yeah, you know, there's all that stuff. I think the other thing I mentioned that had me curious is I did see the name here and there, but I didn't recognize a lot of characters from it, which reminds me a lot of the Kantai Collection stuff, where sometimes it feels like maybe I'm just not recognizing characters I've seen in artwork from it because of the way they're stylized, or maybe just the focus on some stuff. And so far, only one character looks vaguely familiar, and it's a red-haired girl with horns and big boobs. Which is kind of silly, but overall, you know, I watched all 7 episodes of this. It was pretty entertaining. I could definitely have continued going on. You know, English dub certainly makes it really easy to continue watching. And the reason, I think I set up a lot of stuff that would make you think, oh yes, this is definitely good. And maybe it's actually really good to great if it has good closure to it, because the pacing isn't too bad going from episode to episode. I think that's a good way of putting it. Like, it doesn't feel like they're in a big rush. It doesn't feel like they're kind of sitting down and taking in a whole lot, but it kind of feels like it's moving forward at a kind of brisk walk, I guess. So, you know, overall, I thought it was worth it. I definitely had a big goal to finish it because with My Hero Academia Season 2 Part 2 coming out today, that's a high priority watch. Oh god, and all this Pokemon stuff. I've got a lot of stuff to sort out, but it's kind of unfortunate because I haven't gotten that 4th Xerneas yet still, and of course Roserade C didn't arrive with the set, so that means I have 2 Pokemon decks that are 1 card away each from me being able to play test them now that I can put deck protectors on the water deck and play test them against each other, I guess, just to kind of get a good feel for how normal decks work and competitive decks work, I guess. But yeah, I've been watching a certain scientific railgun with my brother. I don't remember if I mentioned that I was watching Index with him. But this was a good watch. The ending of the first core of the first season is actually pretty nice. I don't remember exactly what all happens in the second core, so it'll be nice to go through that and get a refresher and then remember. But it's nice to get back to it. I'm trying to remember what I thought of Index 2, because that's going to be, I think Index 2 comes after this, and then Railgun S, which is Season 2 of Railgun, and then that movie. And it's unfortunate because Index is actually neat. I wouldn't say it's necessarily spectacular. Definitely on the good to great side, because it feels like watching it kind of pays off for the neat ideas you get, for the resolution of conflict you get. Some of the character interactions are kind of neat, but Railgun is definitely a very different beast. It's a lot more slice of life and building up to a big idea slowly. And it's pretty refreshing. You kind of feel like you know the characters, you like the characters, you can hang out with the characters or something like that. And I think that's usually a pretty good indication of good character design. Well, maybe I'm mistaken. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Outside of that, I know I did a little Pokemon stuff because now that the Zygardes are coming in, I wanted to make sure I finished with the Yveltal and the Palkia. Each of those designs needed a life orb, so I did some Mantine surfing. And surprisingly got a higher score in something. I haven't been playing to get a higher score, just to get a high score so I get more BP. But yeah, it basically means that I guess I didn't do much else video game related. I can't help but think that I'm missing talking about something, because let's see, my Thursday friend, I did watch a couple more episodes of Reboot. I'm trying to think what we did after that. He was tired. Did we watch something? I can't think of anything we might have done. So, yeah, I guess we kept that evening a little short. And I don't know what I'm missing. I'm pretty sure I didn't do nothing. I did some productive stuff, you know, just little things like Well, okay, obviously I took care of the GameStop stuff. I took care of swapping out the registration on the car. I don't know. I think today's update is mostly notable because of the huge amount of stuff. I mean, it's a mess over here, and I'm going to have to organize it and probably look up the name of that deck. Maybe it's Overflow deck? I don't know. Oh, well, that's this week's anime DVD collection update. Y'all have a nice week.